Right now, the color of the screen you're watching, the sound of my voice, and the meaning of these words are being processed in completely isolated, far-flung regions of your cortex, yet you don't perceive a laggy delay. The brain continuously stitches these scattered signals together into one seamless reality, without missing a millisecond. Neuroscientists call this the binding problem. The co-discoverer of DNA, Francis Crick, spent his final years obsessed with this puzzle. On the exact day he died in July 2004, he was feverishly editing a paper about a single, highly obscure brain structure. Crick believed he was hunting for the physical location where the fragmented sensory signals of the brain actually become a singular U. If we strip away the outer cortex on this 3D map, we find a crumpled, irregular sheet of gray matter hidden deep inside each hemisphere. It is thinner than a credit card, and it is called the claustrum. Diffusion imaging data from 2015 revealed exactly how this tiny sheet is wired. It possesses the highest connectivity per unit volume of any structure in the human brain, sending and receiving physical links to nearly every surrounding region. Because almost everywhere talks to the claustrum, and the claustrum talks back to almost everywhere, Crick and his collaborator Crick Koch hypothesized it acts as a conductor. It serves as a central router, taking in the chaotic traffic of the cortex and gating it into the synchronized pulse of conscious awareness. This positioning makes the claustrum the primary anatomical candidate for the system that binds reality into a single coherent moment. To understand how a complex network hub functions, you have to observe what happens when it breaks. In 2014, researchers were mapping the brain of a woman with severe epilepsy using implanted depth electrodes. When they delivered high-frequency electrical stimulation near her claustrum, her consciousness turned off. She halted mid-action, stared vacantly, and became entirely unresponsive. The instant the current stopped, she returned to baseline with zero memory of the gap. It mirrored a literal off-switch for human consciousness. But biological caveats apply. This was a single patient with an epileptic brain, and the electrode sat at the border of the claustrum and the insula, making the exact point of origin difficult to pin down. These results suggest that when this specific traffic hub is interrupted, the coherent stream of human experience pauses with it. We can also disrupt the hub chemically. The claustrum contains one of the brain's highest densities of the serotonin 5H2A receptor. This receptor is the biological mechanism through which classic psychedelics, like psilocybin, operate. We can see the effect in this 2D network map from a 2020 study at Johns Hopkins. When patients were given psilocybin, activity in the claustrum significantly dropped. As the hub dimmed, rigid connections to the default mode network scrambled into a fluid arrangement. A side-by-side plot reveals this drop in claustrum activity predicted the intensity of ego dissolution. The quieter the router, the more the sense of self melted away. If the claustrum serves to bind our experience, then quieting this router provides a physical framework for why the boundaries of identity and reality seem to dissolve on a trip. A biological organ that generates consciousness itself should not be survivable if physically destroyed. A 2015 study of 171 combat veterans with penetrating brain injuries found that patients with damage to the claustrum were not rendered permanently unconscious. Recent animal studies suggest a different role. In mice, the claustrum delivers widespread inhibition across the prefrontal cortex, acting as an attentional filter that blocks out peripheral distractions so the brain can maintain focus. The data suggests the claustrum functions as a coordinator, providing the synchronized scaffolding that keeps the stream of perception stable. Crick may not have found a single seat of the soul, but his final work pointed to the anatomical intersection where biological matter is organized into a cohesive mind. Right now, beneath the deep folds of your cortex, a crumpled sheet of tissue thinner than a card is rapidly firing, actively working to keep your entire world from falling apart.